Well, good Saturday morning, ladies and gentlemen. It is November 21st, about 7:45 a.m. Central Standard Time. You have Alladay Mobile Media. Thanks for tuning in this morning, ladies and gentlemen. We are in the studio. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. 18 days now after the election, and still a bazillion questions. Lots of things happened overnight. Yesterday, of course, Smartmatic Dominion. They've disappeared off the face of the earth. Their employees, the meetings, the press conferences, all been canceled. That sounds like an innocent company to me. I've been accused. I want you to put this in perspective for just a minute. You got accused. Your company, your bazillion-dollar company with investors that have more money on the planet than they know what to do with or to ever be able to do anything with, have been accused of one of the biggest crimes in the history of America, the greatest country on the face of the earth. You don't go anywhere to defend yourself. Your employees, everybody just disappears. It makes you wonder how far back this really goes. Just some food for thought here this morning. I've talked to some people here. I don't have a lot of clips this morning, but I do. I'm going to start off with one with Tucker Carlson. Seems that he's in the thing. He the other night he gave this great oration on America and why America is so great. And I'm going to end the video clips today with something by Tucker Carlson. And I'll comment on that at the end. Just because I have a lot of questions. But Lynn Wood, Jess, and I'm hoping I can get Jess to let me use more of her information. She's a very, very, very good researcher. She's on Vienamo. If you can help her out, like many other of us, we have no income. We're doing this on our own because we've been locked down of COVID. And P.S. a little shameless self-promotion promo. Look for COVID 2. Where I will ask you once again, do you have your COVID mask? They'll catch on in a flash. Get your COVID mask. Yes, indeed. It seems that has a direct correlation with this voter issue going on, not just here in this country, worldwide. Today we're going to hear from Georgia. The PBS did a thing on Georgia voting system. You're going to hear some irate, quote unquote, I call them pseudo journalists. I don't know what's happened to journalism in this country anymore. It just seems a shame what is going on with journalism in this country. But we'll put it all together. And you'll see what I mean. Instead of asking legitimate questions, they want to force people to certify the votes. And this is what I have, my question to all of journalism. There's a handful of journalists, Newsmax, American One News, or One American News, myself, Drone Tech Politics, White Rabbit Media, and I'm drawing a blank on some of the others that have come across my wire. Ghostwriter, he's not really a news outlet or an information outlet, but he does post some stuff up, very, very provocative and very informative at the same time. But all these people are saying the same thing. The handful of us, what are you in such a rush for? And let me just say this. The only time people get in a big rush to do something is so they can bury something. How long have we been hearing about a peaceful transfer of power that has never existed for President Donald J. Trump? Without further ado, here are today's clips just for you.
There is a huge amount going on right now, as you know, really a torrent of news, historic amounts. To begin tonight, we are going to ignore all of it. We've never done that before. This is a news show brought to you on a news channel. But on this second Friday after the election, we'd like to take a 20-minute break from developments. So many things seem so completely screwed up right now that it can be overwhelming. And over time, it's also misleading. If you pay too much attention to what's happening, you can easily conclude that America is a rotten country. But that's wrong. It's not. America is still the best there is. Two things about America make it great: the country and its people. This is a truly beautiful place. That's the first thing. If you're absorbed in your phone all day, it's easy to forget that. But look around. It's stunning. Switzerland has the Alps, Zimbabwe has Victoria Falls, but multiply that by an entire continent and you've got what we have, America. From the islands of Puget Sound to the islands in Casco Bay, to the Rockies and the Badlands and the Upper Peninsula and the Appalachian Mountains in between. Spend a day hiking through the Shoshone National Forest in Wyoming. You might not see another person. How can a place so gorgeous be so empty? We've got a lot of those here. Wake up in Big Sur, California some morning. The smell of redwoods and salt air will change you. You'll feel things you inherited from your ancestors, coming from places the modern world cannot touch. We are blessed to live in a place like this, more blessed than we acknowledge. No matter what happens next, no matter who becomes the president, now or in the future, nothing can diminish the dignity of an eastern white pine towering above the spruce in a New England forest. All of it is ours to enjoy, thank God. And we've got a lot of people to enjoy it with, an awful lot. Americans are still the best people, misguided as we sometimes are. This isn't an especially religious country anymore, but surveys on church-going do not tell the whole story. Even now, most Americans know they're not really in charge of the universe. They know there's something bigger out there, bigger than all of us combined. And when you understand that, when you know in your bones how small you are and how short the ride is likely to be, you tend to treat people better. Americans do. Don't let cable news fool you. Don't let us fool you. This is a profoundly nice country, the nicest in the world. Americans are kind to children, to pets, to strangers. We give more money to charity than any other place. We tip our waiters more. There's no country on earth you'd rather be lost in. Someone will help you. In America, we don't eat dogs. We rescue them. They sleep on the bed. We give them funny names. We cry when they die. It's a sweet country. In some ways, it's getting better. The music's definitely improving. So is the food. Believe it or not, we still make things here, and a lot of them are pretty good. That probably won't change. Americans love innovation, but they're distrustful of anyone's radical plans for the future. Most people here don't want an abrupt reshuffling of everything. They'd prefer incremental improvement. That's why we've had only one revolution. It's why we fought off the metric system all these years, and thank heaven we have. It's why we still have Christmas, and always will. Christmas in America is great, even if you don't really understand what it's about, and many people don't. It's still the happiest time of the year, and therefore it's the most American. America is a happy country, despite everything. Our happiness is fundamental. It's in our founding documents. It's in our people. Nothing happening tonight can take that away.
Also taking a deep dive, election security white hat hacker Hari Hursty.
They have set up a complicated system which is centralized and doesn't seem to have any safeguards.
Georgia's vote tallying system is a complex assortment of laptops, iPads, magnetic cards, touchscreens, printers, and scanners. Lots of moving parts. In 2019, Georgia bought the devices from a Canadian company called Dominion Voting Systems. They replaced paperless machines like these, made by a now defunct company called Diebold Election Systems. A federal judge forced the state to scrap the discredited devices. Election security activist Marilyn Marks was part of the lawsuit that triggered the change. But for her, ballot marking devices, now used widely in 14 states, are not the ideal remedy.
We need paper records that are marked by the voter, with the voters on hand, where we know that was recorded the way that the voter wanted it recorded.
Election security experts working for the plaintiffs in the lawsuit against the state have uncovered several troubling issues. Alex Halderman looked closely at the QR codes, where the votes are encoded for the scanner.
By analyzing the structure of the QR codes, I've been able to learn that there's nothing that stops an attacker from just duplicating one and the duplicate would count the same as the original barcode.
And in late September, another concern came to light. During testing, election workers found half the names of the 21 candidates for Senate intermittently disappeared from screens during the review phase.
You never want to rush something which is mission critical, and this is mission critical, into production without proper time of testing. That's really one of the ways bad actors are finding the vulnerabilities to exploit, is looking for honest vulnerabilities and finding out if they can be weaponized, if they can be exploited.
Let's go. What is happening now with the rescission? And I know that you got to go to the state board on Monday, but just get our audience up in the process, because people are saying, is this thing not certified? Is it certified? Does the president have a chance? Walk us through. We got a couple of minutes left here. Walk us through where we actually stand.
All right, let me start with the president does have a chance, and this Joe Biden is president-elect stuff bugs the crap out of me, and you know as well as I do that that's nothing but an attempt to get everybody depressed and believing and just getting to roll over so that Joe Biden can pat their tummy and just say these aren't the droids you're looking for, move on. So it's all part of a disinformation campaign. Having said that, here's what's going on with the actual process. So the Wayne County Board of Canvassers rejected the certification. That goes up to the State Board of Canvassers. State Board of Canvassers is going to have 10 days to go off and figure out how to go off and try to get to validate and address the concerns that were identified by the Wayne County Board of Canvassers by not certifying it. If they can't do it and don't feel like they should be certifying the statewide elections, then we go to terra incognita here in the state of Michigan. This is where people blow off the dust of sections of the Michigan compiled law that we don't get into too often. And for the latest reading that I've had on it, we go to it requires a Senate joint or a joint resolution between the Senate and the House at the state legislature to determine how electoral college votes will be allocated. So that's one track. The other track is there's a series of lawsuits, including the one that I just referenced that Judge Kenney ruled on, that has been appealed, and that emergency appeal went up to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court of Michigan is now reviewing that case. So there could be orders coming out of the Michigan Supreme Court that affect how votes are assigned, or whether or not we do an audit, or whether or not we do a full-up revote. Any one of those are in play. In addition to the state thread, there's actually a federal court thread as well. And we don't know where that may end up either. So bottom line is, keep your hands and feet in the right at all times, because it's going to be an up and down road for a while.
Senator, we got to bounce, but we're going to try to get you.
I think there's going to be some growing pains. On that note, like I said, I've got a fair number of military friends, so it's not like I'm outing any single person. But according to what I'm hearing, we can expect not in the hundreds, but closer to the thousands of arrests. And I think the military is also preparing, if I'm not missing the mark here and not speaking out of turn, to be deployed in various areas of our own country, which is not our military's normal use. Normally, we deploy them elsewhere. And I think that the reason that is occurring is because both sides, regardless of who wins this fight, although I don't think it's an issue, I firmly believe Trump has this at the end of the day.
It is, unless you happen to personally know everyone who votes for you on a paperless DRE machine, there is no way to verify the results. It's a pretty good case against them, which makes it, frankly, completely insane that New Jersey not only still uses them, but plans to keep using them for the 2020 election. And it's not just New Jersey. In 2016, 20% of voters voted on paperless DREs, and an estimated 12% will use them in 2020, meaning 16 million Americans spread out across all these states are set to be voting on machines that pretty much everyone agrees are deeply, deeply flawed. And if they malfunction, there could be no way of knowing, which is absolutely terrifying. Because what we have to do here is obvious. It's so obvious, in fact, even this guy understands it.
One of the things we're learning is it's always good. It's old-fashioned, but it's always good to have a paper backup system of voting. It's called paper, not highly complex computers, paper. And a lot of states are doing that.
Yeah. He's right. That's it. He's just all the way completely right.
What did Trump promise you? What did Trump promise you?
Where's the fraud? Where's the evidence of fraud? Where's the evidence of fraud? Where is the evidence of fraud? Shame on you! Certify the results!
Susan Knox, November the 20th, Friday morning. I'm watching all of these ballots being shredded now. Unbelievable. Just move up and we'll see what else is going out. Yep, here we go. What are they shredding? Massive amounts of ballots right there going out.
In the newspapers, in networks, academic studies saying it is open to fraud and coercion. The only time the narrative changed is after this administration came in. But elections that have been held with mail have found substantial fraud and coercion. For example, we indicted someone in Texas, 1,700 ballots collected from people who could vote. He made them out and voted for the person he wanted to. Okay? Because that kind of thing happens with mail-in ballots, and everyone knows
but
that.
There are individual cases, but as far as widespread fraud, we haven't seen that since.
Well, we haven't had the kind of widespread use of mail-in ballots that's being proposed.
Well, last night, in a segment about voter fraud and investigations into it, we told you about Sidney Powell, the former federal prosecutor, and her claim that roughly 7 million votes were secretly changed on election night by rigged vote-counting software. Well, in the last 24 hours since we did that, we've heard from a lot of people about that segment, including people in the White House and people close to the president. Like us, they have concluded that this election was not fair. Like us, they are willing to believe any explanation for what happened. Like us, they have not seen a single piece of evidence showing that software changed votes. Doesn't mean it didn't happen. It might have happened. It means they haven't seen any evidence that it happened. And by they, we are including other members of Donald Trump's own legal team. They have not seen Powell's evidence either. No testimony from employees inside the software companies, no damning internal documents, no copies of the software itself. So that's where we are. Sidney Powell came on Fox this morning and suggested we may not have to wait much longer. I fully expect, she says, that we will be able to prove all of it in a court within the next 2 weeks. Well, as far as we're concerned, that is great news. If Sidney Powell can prove that technology companies switched millions of votes and stole a presidential election, she will have almost single-handedly uncovered the greatest crime in the history of this country, and no one will be more grateful for that than us.
Well, what a wide array this morning, huh? I have, before I go any further, I want to say this. I am going to call Tucker Carlson out here, and you'll understand here in just a minute. I have the utmost respect for that man. He is very articulate, he's very smart, he's very astute, and he has a habit, and the reason I like him is he'll put his finger on something that many people are afraid to touch. He'll put his finger on a subject matter, kind of like me sometimes. But what I don't understand is why hasn't Mr. Carlson found out little things? I mean, you saw these video clips. They're grinding. They're shredding. They're shredding ballots. Okay? That people are sending this videos everywhere. Why isn't Mr. Carlson able to come up with some of this video and have his crackpot staff investigate a little bit? Why isn't he able to find out that the community of Silver Springs and Stagecoach, Nevada each had 12 voting machines in the past that were replaced, and those communities were able to go to their local community center and vote. They're small towns of approximately, between both towns, they might have 15,000 people living there. But you have these small community centers that have a dozen, that's 24 voting machines that disappeared out of that area. And these people had to travel 30, 40 miles to vote. Hold on, wait for it, sit down, on Dominion Smartmatic voting systems. So, in that respect, I don't understand. I mean, I understand Carlson coming back out and saying what he said, but I don't understand why he didn't take it a step further and address the comments that Ms. Powell made, saying, hey, we sent information to you guys and you didn't use it. That I was a little depressed with, a little uneasy with. Ladies and gentlemen, as always, I'm going to leave it here today. And I'll let you, again, I don't know how to stress this. I don't know how to stress this. There are a couple good established places. One American News, Newsmax. Thank you for that. Mark Levin. I've been getting harvesting information from him. White Rabbit Media, Drone Tech Politics, sharing in their conversations. Join some of these social internet cyberland things and find information out and be educated. Don't get tunnel vision. Don't keep the blinders on and go down the same road that the mainstream media wants you to go down, because it's insane and it's not. You're being programmed. You're being, I'm telling you, you're being conditioned. You're being programmed to accept whatever you're told to do, and it is poppycock. That is not my America. My America is walking down the street and letting your freak flag fly. And if you don't like the guy next to you freak flag flying, you turn around and you walk the other way, you tip your hat to the guy and say, hey, have a great day. That is my America. Whether you like Barack Obama, whether you like Joe Biden, whether you like Donald Trump, it doesn't matter. This country was designed for all of us to coexist. And all of us have to follow one set of rules. You notice Mr. Bill Barr was in there. On the closing note today, do we need to put an Amber Alert out for Mr. Barr? Do we need to put his picture on a milk carton? What is really going on, Mr. Barr? What is really going on? Ladies and gentlemen, with that thought, I bid you adieu. Let's have a great day. Let's all be safe out there.